Hey, this is the old gaming geezer, and I am back with some Kerbal Space Program. Now, I've updated to version 0.24.2, and I've gotten, I have a little money, strangely enough, because on my last flight, I hadn't actually recovered my last flight, the shuttle landing, the Kablamo landing, so I recovered it and I got a little money from the recovery. I don't know why that happened, but it happened, so I'm happy. Woohoo! Now, as I said, I've updated to 0.24.2, and that means that everything seems to be working okay. I have no money. Unfortunately, I can't afford to launch a shuttle because I don't have enough money for the parts. For example, Shuttle Kablamo Launch 2. Also, there is a problem with the B9 parts. Let's turn that off. They need to be updated. And they're not at the moment. You can see my RCS is thrusting like crazy there. So we need to get the engineer in from B9 to take a look at the Kablamo. We're having some problems. And even if we weren't having problems with it, because we've had several missteps in our last couple of missions, the plug has been pulled on our infinite funding, so we can't even afford to launch this thing. So coming out of here, I'm going to quickly check. Wait. I'm going to quickly check my guys, how they're getting on. And so, we have Bilgan Kerban, who has done a couple of flights. He's looking good. Bill Kerman, 11 missions, Bill Kerman. And look at all his ribbons. Dangerous EVA. Mission time. He's awarded for more than 80 Kerban days spent on missions. Go on, Bill, you good thing. That is a solid fuel booster ribbon. Minmus docking, loads of ribbons. Collision ribbon. Splashdown. Yeah, he's done quite a lot of things there. Bob has only actually done 6 missions, but, you know, he's done a lot of time. He spent 20 Kerbal days in orbit, or in space. He was the first to land back on Kerbal. Okay. Jebediah. There's Jeb. Only 14 missions. Well, only 14 missions. He's got the most missions. How long has he spent in space? Only 20 Kerbal days in space, so that's not a huge amount. It's the same as Bob. Then we have Lemuel, who has first Minmus EVA. Oh, right. Kerbal surface. Yeah. And our two scientists who went up in the Science Orium, Nelvis and Obser, and they both have more than 80 Kerbal days mission time, even though they've only had 2 missions. Wait. Why do they only have... What? They should have only had 1 mission. That's weird. They only went on 1 mission. It might be an error in when I brought Final Frontier, my save game, over to 0.24, the latest version. But you know what? It doesn't matter. But they do have the first Kerbal docking ribbon. Are they the first Kerbals to dock? Obser and Nelvin. They are too. Cool. And Shepin, who died, but mysteriously came back to life. He's done his 2 missions. Collision ribbon. That must be the one where he actually died. Okay. And so this is the Greenback 1. And this is the ship that I'm going to use to start getting some cash. Because, as you know, I have no cash. I need cash. So the Greenback 1 is going into orbit. It's going to rescue a lost Kerbal who somehow got into orbit. I don't know how he got into orbit. I don't know what he's doing there, but he's in orbit. So the Greenback 1 is on its way now into orbit at double speed. It's a fairly standard ship. There's nothing crazy about it. It's just going into space. That's what it's doing. So we'll just speed up time a little bit more here. We're now going at quadruple speed. I'm about to drop those boosters. There they go. It's going pretty fast, trying to get quite a shallow launch here so I can get up to speed pretty quickly, because I built the ship really fast, and even though I put Kerbal Engineer Redux on it, it has plenty of Delta V. I'm just screwing around with it. I'm doing a little bit of science here. because one of the contracts I've got to get is do science in orbit, and bring it home as well. So I've just been doing a bit of science there, and there we are. I'm going to just circularize my orbit. I really launched at the wrong time. I should have fast-forwarded until Arid Kerman, who is the Kerbanaut stuck in orbit, was closer in, but I didn't. I didn't do that because I'm an idiot. And so now I am, there I go, circularizing my orbit. All very standard. Nothing amazing going on here. But you know, Bill is happy. He's back in space. So I dump my launch stage. Bill gets out. He takes all of the data from the science packages he's got. I didn't bother with GOO and the Science Junior because I've already done science in orbit. But what I haven't got is the temperature and the gravioli, or not the seismic one. Is that the gravioli? I can't remember. So I'm also getting him out to do EVAs over different biomes on Kerbal, which I never actually did before, which is quite handy to do. And my cat is now sniffing my microphone while I talk, and now he's walking on me. So, Jesus. And there he goes. Okay, so more EVAs to get EVA reports above certain parts of Kerbal, and I keep checking as we go over different parts, but now we're in the daytime. I don't need to just keep checking, I can actually watch. But I've gotten some of these before, like that one I had gotten before. Yeah, so now I'm going to start checking where is Arid Kerman and where am I. And we're going to come close. Yeah, I'm just basically trying to catch up with him here. I'm checking the rendezvous thing, the rendezvous display, which I've actually never used, so I have no idea what I'm looking at. So we're catching up with Arid Kerman, and we're going to catch him, and I'm going to cut to us catching him. There he is. You know, I did a pretty standard rendezvous. I'm actually getting much better at rendezvousing now, now that I've practiced it a load of times, and a load of times, and a load of times during the course of the Indeterminate stuff, especially during our Minmus and Moon science gathering missions. So now we're getting close to Arid. I'm just zeroing out my velocity there, and then we switch to Arid Kerman, and let's get him in. Let's get him into the ship. So I'm sure you noticed that the Greenback 1 has a small lander can on the back of it so that I could take a passenger. And Arid Kerman is using his suit's RCS thrusters to get him in close. I had a little trouble. I'm trying to switch the view so that I can get in there, but I just can't remember how to do it. But anyway, I get him in. No problem. He's in. We're good. And so now I'm going to check where is the... Oh, I need to check my contracts to see where I am with the contracts. And I've realized that I actually have to get him back. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get him back. Now, I'm in totally the wrong place to land close to the KSC because I can't really see it. I don't know where it is. So I'm not going to do that. So instead what I'm going to do is I'm going to launch a test flight. This test flight is to test out solid rocket boosters. Now I have to test them out at a very specific altitude and at a very specific speed, which is why I've got loads of them, and it's a badly designed rocket, and as you can see, bits of it are going to start exploding, but it stays going, and that's good. I'm using a trick I learned from Scott Manley where just before a solid rocket booster expires, you shoot the ones in front of it and it blows up the ones below, because I didn't want to spend money on decouplers, on stacked decouplers, because I would have needed a hell of a lot of them. So oh, there, another part of my ship just exploded. So I need to get over, I think it's over 450 meters per second, and I have to do it within a very specific altitude, and the altitude is, I think it was 11,000 meters and 16,000 meters or something like that. So I'm trying to get up to 11,000 meters here, and I'm trying to do it at a speed, as fast a speed as I can. So now I'm turning over. I'm being turn over because I'm getting close to 11,000 meters, so I'm going to try and keep it within the... so I'm in at 11,000 meters. Any second now going to blow it up. Maybe it was 18,000 meters, between 11 and 18. I can't remember offhand. So, there. So now we're testing it in the zone, and we're at the speed. We're quite a high speed now. And excellent. I can't remember what the top of it was probably lower than 18 or higher than 18. I can't remember. I'd have to check. But yeah, we're working. We're good. There's our plasma forming around the ship as we smash through the air at very, very high speed. What are we at? 2,000, 3,000? I can't read the preview window from here. So I don't want to go into orbit, so I'm trying to turn the ship downwards, but this is too late. We are flying through space. Well, we're flying through the atmosphere. And I'm just double checking. Yes, I got it. Woohoo! So that's my first completed contract in Kerbal Space Program 0.24.2. And I'm just playing with this thing, and I drop the solid rocket boosters, and the screen goes a little bit nuts, but it's okay. So enough time has passed now that the KSC is in daylight. Well, I actually fast forwarded in the last clip so I could get my solid rocket booster testing facility into the daylight so I could launch it. But it's still in daylight, so we're going to bring Bob and our survivor, whose name is gone from my brain, home. A very standard deorbit burn here. Nothing crazy. We're just bringing him down. So I was aiming for the KSC, but I come up a little bit short. We're not going to hit it. We're not going to get over the mountains, but that's okay. We're going to land just on the other side of the mountains, probably about 100 kilometers away from the KSC, and that's okay as my ship starts to spin like crazy as it flies through the atmosphere. It turns out that the lander can is lighter than the one-man capsule. The one-man lander can is lighter than the one-man capsule, so the one-man capsule wants to go forward. So I released the small chute as a drogue, and I released the two on the sides, which are on the lander can, and this is what happened. So I figure that's not good. I don't want the capsule to explode when it hits the ground, so I decide to cut one of the side parachutes so it'll land on its side, and that's... I didn't want to kill the guy I just rescued from orbit. So we're coming down. And there we go. Our chute's open. And I'm probably going to start fast forwarding in-game here any second now because I'm doing post-commentary. Trying to remember what it is. There we go. Fast forward. So we're coming down. I'm going to slow down just before we hit the ground. Otherwise, the physics will destroy everything, and we don't want that to happen. So, and we're down. Boys are out. Doing some extra science here just in case, because I've never actually used these particular science equipments in the I've never actually used these particular science instruments in this particular location before. So I'm just basically collecting all the science, dropping Bob back inside. I'm not dropping Bob back there. I've dropped Bob back inside. Doing some more science. All looking good. So happy. I get... I can't remember the guy's name. The guy I rescued out just in case he could do an EVA report. So we head back to the Kerbal Space Center, and we get a little final frontier summary of what just happened on that flight. Bob obviously... got a couple of ribbons, and the new guy, I can't read his name from here, as Eldrin Kerbin. He got a few as well, which is good for him. We got a couple of hundred science, not a couple of hundred, we got about 60 science out of that mission, which was pretty damn good. And we got a little bit of money back, and we got 2 Kerbals back. So I now have some extra cash. So pretty much doubled my money in that mission. So there we are. I'm looking through the Final Frontier mod. I love this mod. I love the fact that it tracks all the achievements of your Kerbals. It's one of my favorite mods. It's brilliant. I love it. So now let's check the science. I've got enough science to unlock something. I've got about 250, 300 science, 300 science. So I've decided what I need to unlock because I need to go back to the moon and finish getting science from the moon. And I'm looking through all the different things. A few things there I don't know what they are. So a lot of those are B9 stuff, but my B9 is not working at the moment, so I have to wait till that particular mod has been updated. None of those things are really jumping out at me to say, use me. Aha! Nuclear engines. It's nuclear engines is what I'm getting. So that's what I'm going to do next time. I'm going to go back to the moon. I'm going to try and finish off doing science on the moon. This is the old gaming geezer. I'm signing off. Bye-bye.